All right, y'all. Pastor Dowell, Pastor Dowell. Let me explain something. And I'm not going to assume that you're a smart man, because you've allowed some things to happen. You put yourself in some situations that smart people don't put themselves into. You're fueled by something else. But I'm going to let you know the consequences. It's not about Pastor Mir. It's all about you. Pastor Mir in that situation with the abuse. If that's what happened, he should get charged, so forth. But it's not about him. You have to know, as a leader of a cult that has been investigated by several alphabet communities. When I say alphabet communities, I'm talking about FBI, FED, GBI, IB, what they got? GBI, IBI. When you got the feds, you got the certain authorities on you, and you built yourself up as just this high profile character. Everything. You know that they read you your Miranda rights. Everything you say will be used against you. They're going to use every video. They're going to use every single video that you ever put out. You said something ignorant the other day. What you said, and it told me a lot about you, what you had going on, and how you felt that you were safe. Control everything. Have your name on nothing, but control everything. You're not safe, brother. There are dope dealers who are doing life in prison, and they've never been seen touching any dope. Something called conspiracy. I'm just finna give you some information, Pastor Dowell. This is really just directed to you. Whether you want to use the information or not, it's on you, brother. I've done a few videos before telling you to repent, brother. Asking you to repent. I'm not asking you to repent, brother. Now I'm just trying to help you, maybe help you see what's finna come down this pipeline. You cannot trust Pastor Mir. You cannot trust anybody in your community to lay down themselves or to be a Christ for you. For them to lay down their lives. And you can preach the sermon. There's a verse in there in Peter that tells us to be like Christ. And tells us the greatest form of love is for one to lay down his life for his brother. But it's going to be hard to be truly comprehended, especially by an individual you giving $50 a month to take care of his family. Especially somebody you only giving a $200 allowance. It's gonna be a hard sermon trying to tell this individual he needs to lay down his life, to throw his life away and go to prison for his pastor, for his shepherd, that only allots him enough to buy a couple packs of noodles and some Oreos to feed his family. It's gonna be tough. Now, if these people were well off and they was well taken care of, it'll be different. But in a situation like what's about to come, every person that has been mistreated is gonna have a testimony against you. You know, I use those videos of Nature Boy who end up getting life in prison, but everybody he mistreated was up on that stand testifying against him. Listen, everything that you hold, everything that created you, that made you, will be used against you. I remember you saying something about, you know, God told you or Yah told you to make yourself known. You've exposed yourself. You've made yourself known. So you thought it was about making yourself this grander image and making yourself and being this to reach this celebrity status of this great influence. But no, it was really to make yourself known, where people can really truly know who you are. And there are going to be many witnesses. Many witnesses. And you other leaders there, you're not safe. You're going to have to choose a side, because there are going to be many witnesses against you also. What's my brother name? They got kicked out. Pastor Rufus. You're not safe either, brother. Pastor Dowell is not going down by himself. Okay? So, whatever went on in them little rooms, don't think it wasn't recorded. Don't think if it wasn't recorded, don't think it's not being recorded now. They done raided that place. They done bugged it also. Pastor Mir may come back with a bug on them. They probably already been inside of that organization. You can't trust nobody. If it's me, I can't trust any. If I was pastor, I can't trust nobody. I don't care how long they've been here. Because what is the actual benefit of you being here? You know, I had to like, you know, are you really that dumb? I know I wouldn't be here being treated the way I'm treating you. Why are you here? Why are you suffering to be around me? Do you really believe that this is the home of the truth? That this is the only place where you can receive salvation? Or are you the feds? Are you here suffering me, watching me, taking my verbal abuse, documenting everything that's going on, trying to build the case against me? That's what you need to be understanding, Pastor Dowell. You know, I seen a video, you had a brother, and I'm not going to do all the clipping and all of this stuff, because, again, this is directly to Pastor Dowell. Or if his minions send this to him. You had a brother standing up there, and you wanted him to give you all of this praise. And tell him how you been here 12 years and tell him about your experience on Straightway. That I can see that brother now on that stand talking about how vicious of a leader you were. And what's sad is that's why I was talking about I'm not going to assume that you're smart. You're going to be very shocked about what's going to happen. You're going to be very shocked at the people who going to be testifying against you. What was that brother named? That other football player that ran into some issues. Your ex-wife is going to be there testifying against you, brother. She going to be there testifying against you in Straightway. That sister that the brother said, I wanted to marry a virgin, but I couldn't marry a virgin. Oh man, I just wanted to marry this virgin, but then you married somebody who wasn't a virgin. And then you said none of her family was there. Her family gonna be at that court case, brother. When they see that ministry being taken down, all of those family members are gonna be there. They wasn't there for the wedding, but they will raise their hand up to say, I have information about what's going on in that place. That first wife. She didn't want you to go into that polygamy. She didn't want you dealing with that mess. She tired. She might be their main witness. Can you trust her? When we facing life in prison, can you trust that first wife? After you just got you a new one, after you got 3, 4 after her, you don't pay her no attention no more. When you done had to fight off the jealousy, when you done had to maybe even hit the jealousy out of her. Will she be there? And that's alleged. That's speculative. I'm not saying any woman over there is being abused. But I know that flesh, it will get jealous of another woman sleeping with their man. And they gonna feel some kind of way. And they gonna have to be trained on how to hold back those emotions. They're gonna be laying there fighting off tears, hearing their husband with another woman. Seeing their husband with another woman. Will that woman vouch for you in the court of law? Now, Nature Boy had 5 wives that vouched for him. But he had 7. But he had 7 on the other side talking about how much of a demon he was. He had 5 or 6 of them on the other side that, he didn't really get with, So you just think about that, Pastor Dowell. If there's any of them other sisters there that you were thinking about courting, but they really didn't get, and you had to talk to them a certain way, and they end up crying and leaving and going somewhere else, and you had to marry them all, they gonna be at that court date, brother. They gonna be wanting to testify. They gonna want to tell their story. Pastor Dowell, we live in a world today where a story about coming out of a cult is very profitable. There was a woman on TikTok that she did a series about who did I marry? Who did I marry and became a millionaire? Do they have that loyalty? They got the loyalty to stay on that farm, but do they have the loyalty to turn down that book deal, to risk their freedom, to face persecution? Have you trained that in them? Have you taught them that? Control everything. Are you really in control? And you're not. You're not in control. This was one phone call from a grandmother. This was one phone call from a grandmother. Got you in this situation. One phone call. You know, if I had to advise you, my advice ain't nothing. Who am I? But this would be the time to pack it up, man. Get your wives, sell everything, go to Belize with Russell Simmons and Puff Daddy. It's gonna be very high risk for you to stay there in Tennessee and continue things as they are. You've been being monitored, and they're just building their case with just a substantial amount of evidence that you're going to take a plea deal. That you're going to have to take a plea deal. Worst case, well, not worst case, but at least you can take your finances and get you a good lawyer, man. Them folks are in custody. They're in there. They not talking about that child, man. Okay. If they in them interrogation rooms, they're not talking about that child. That's a domestic violence case. That's open shut. You know, we ain't got to do a whole bunch of delegating and deliberating on that. If he beat that child, okay, we gonna lock him up. We'll release the sister. You can put the other little cases on them and whatnot. You know about them tampering with evidence and getting in the police way of their investigation, getting in the way of their investigation. You can get them on that, but I don't see that keeping him in jail. Maybe them taking that child, but this stuff happens. All right. So I'm not the one like, man, he beat the child. Like, that is a terrible thing. That is absolutely terrible. If, whatever happened to that child, if that happened that way and he was physically abused by his father, that's very terrible. But if you know any social workers, man, it's people are terrible. All right, just let me just say that, man. Like, people are terrible. There was a case recently where this white couple had adopted 5 kids. Well, I don't know. Let me not even say that, because I don't. Sometimes they generate these stories in AI and they just be making this stuff up. So I haven't investigated, but it was a story like that. But I don't know if that's actually true, where they had them adopted and had them pretty much as slaves or whatever. But I know a few social workers, and they've told me some terrible things. They've had to get counseling after seeing certain cases of kids being abused and not being fed and locked in basements and so forth. They know how to deal with these kind of cases. But this is really about you, Pastor Dowell. You think that you're not connected, and I know you're nervous, and you need to trust those feelings. You need to trust those feelings. You can't giggle this off. You're not going to be able to make these videos. Like, you can make questions. You can question and try to control and influence, the body. But eventually that body's going to turn on you. And those in the body, you need to understand too that if that paperwork ain't straight, everything's lost. Everything that you've invested into Straightway is in jeopardy. Everything that you thought you was finna retire, you thought you had it figured out, da 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 da, you're outside the system, you're living off the land a little bit, and you just need to build you a house, and you're gonna be the little house it's in jeopardy. It's very unlikely to happen. Whatever idea that you had about the rest of your life at Straightway is you need to get rid of it. Or you need something in your name. And if you can't get that from the ministry, if there is no, well, if Pastor Dowell goes down, this land is going to shift to this, or this individual will get this, and da 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 da. If that's not drawn up in any kind of trust or whatever, everything that you've invested into that cult is in high risk, very much in jeopardy, and your leader may take off. What do you do when the leader takes off? When the shepherd flees, then what it says, the sheep will scatter. When the shepherd is killed, it says the sheep will scatter. Are you gonna wait? Or are you gonna are you gonna start talking about your exit plan, man? It's really, really things need to be in motion. Things need to be in motion. I heard him say, man, Pastor Mir, he got his lawyer and they're not really talking to me and da 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 da. And I don't know if that's the case, but brother, if that's the case, they're not talking to you because they building the case against you, brother. They finna say they self. Now, how you gonna look that man in the eye and tell him you don't trust him? You gonna look that 300-pound lineman, what he was, defensive lineman, offensive lineman. You talk about all these people you want to meet face to face. Where's the reproof? Why don't you check that elder who done jeopardized your whole livelihood, jeopardized your wives, he jeopardized your children. He's put everybody in jeopardy. What's the rebuke? Oh, we stand with Pastor Mir, man. Pastor Mir. Will he stand with you? Will he stand with you? Will he have the loyalty of a YSL? Like these folks, them folks that's supposed to be snitching on Young Thug, if y'all familiar with that case. Jokers is giving them feds to run around. But these people are used to being in and out of jail. They live by a certain code. They have a certain loyalty, and this loyalty has been entrusted by death, by fear, by seeing people who have went against these codes that they've established amongst each other and were killed. Now, I'm sure, and I'm just speculating, that there have been people that broke certain codes within Straightway. And I'm sure Straightway has a way of disciplining these people. I'm sure there is a respecter of persons. I'm not sure. I'm just speculating. That there may be a respecter of persons in that place. And sometimes that judgment don't go out on others like it does on certain other people. That judgment, though, has put a little fear in y'all, but does it put enough fear in you to choose him over federal time in prison? To risk your freedom? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think you got him that scared, Pastor Dowell. And like I said, if I were you, I would start heading to Belize. I would cut my losses here and I will shut the whole thing down, because you cannot trust anybody. You thought you had a trust for Pastor Rufus. He gonna be in that court too, because he gonna have to save himself. He done already lost too much dealing with you. He ain't finna lose nothing else. He ain't about to lose nothing else. They gonna go over there knocking on his door. What you think he gonna say? You think he gonna have nice words for you, Pastor Dowell, when them federal agents at his door talking, asking questions? When he see the list of witnesses that are going against you, when he see all the people that's done already turned, when he see all the informants that were already in the organization for the past 15 years. Some of the folks was in the organization since RG Stare. You think Rufus gonna do? You think he gonna hold it down for you? Or you think he gonna tell everything he can possibly tell? He on Ringo TV right now. That's when I did the video, and I seen him confirm that child was autistic. That was an autistic child. That was a mentally challenged child. Y'all got kids there that are undocumented, brother. These are like illegal immigrants. See, when illegal immigrants come here, they know to be quiet. They know to shut their mouth. They don't make themselves known. But you've done the opposite, brother. And these things are catching up with you. This is a very serious moment. This is nothing to chuckle about. You blasphemed the name of Yah among the Gentiles. Gave his name a horrible reputation. And it ain't just Straightway. You know, yeah, Israelites go viral for another video. From another group that's probably cult-like. You're just not as organized. Israel, we're going to have to do better, man. And we're going to have to separate ourselves. We're going to have to let people know, like, I could have kept doing videos on Straightway and Pastor Dowell. I had the video. I seen them. I even seen him do the video. At one point he was telling Ringo, he was going on Ringo TV. Shouts out to Ringo. Shouts out to New Breed. Them brothers on your neck. And if you know them jokers get the dick. Man, listen, if them jokers get the call, they not only gonna be at the court, they're gonna be documenting the whole thing. They gonna be documenting the whole thing. Ringo gonna be up there trying to give his testimony. They ain't even called that man up. New Breed gonna be there giving his testimony. They ain't even called him up. And you done made these folks your enemy, and you didn't necessarily have to do that. All it had to be was, man, you know what? I sinned. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have did that. I gotta repent of the situation, but it's done. I've already ruined these folks' lives. I already took in this woman to be my wife. It's over. Yeah, I did it, man. I was a lapse of concentration. Woody woo. Man, you done made all kinds of enemies trying to hold on to that story, man. And she gonna testify against you too. She gonna testify and tell how you did her husband. You gonna be sitting down there trying to gnaw at your lawyer. Wait a minute. She the one told me to do it. And she gonna be telling that story so different. She gonna be telling that story so different that, you know what, maybe he made me do it. I ain't have no choice. I had to think about my kids. My husband was way out in Florida. I was scared if I said something, man. You don't have no control, Pastor Dowell. You don't have no control, brother. I know you think you do. I know you think all of it's that you can handle all of it. You never been challenged the way you being challenged right now. But brother, it's time to reset. I would get rid of everybody. Hey man, y'all on y'all own. Do what y'all gonna do. You know what? Here, y'all can take this little land right here. You take this community right here. I'm finna sell this. Buy me some land out here. And we out. We gotta wrap this thing up. Too much of this stuff is in my name. Too many of these people are doing stupid, horrendous things that are jeopardizing the whole community. I see if I did it. And that's the thing too, man, to respect a person because of that dollar. Everybody got a story, Pastor Dowell. All them sisters got a story. They got something that they really said and then somehow they really feel. And they gonna go through counseling. They gonna have all of those those certain specialists that deal with certain cult mentalities, and they gonna unwrap these folks' mind. And so they gonna be telling stories that are different from all the videos they did. See, you gonna have them videos up there and they gonna be saying how great and lovely you are, but those specialists are gonna be reading them people body language and say, that's a lie what she's saying up there on that television. Those testimonies that are you think are pleasing and that they showing that you are a great individual, those testimonies are going to be used against you to show that you're a monster. You ain't got to touch the dope to be considered a dope dealer, to be considered the leader of a criminal organization. You ain't never got to wear the colors. But the crazy thing about it is your name is on it. You know, they said Pastor Mir is the leader, but you got Straightway on the door sign and you had to put your name on it. And so they know, hey man, this man got communities all over the place. Their headquarters is in Tennessee. They know you the leader, brother. I don't care how many LLCs you open up and how many non-profit organizations you open up. They see all of it, brother. It works when they not really looking for you. But when they looking for you, all that stuff just shows your criminal intentions. That you're trying to hide something. It just shows that you're trying to hide something. Why not they all just be in your name? You ain't got nothing to hide. And stuff like this happens just like the Christian church. Like, if this happened in the church, and that's the thing we have to understand. If this happened at the Christian church, They wouldn't have bought the church, and they wouldn't have got the church involved in this. Like when you have a social worker and that social worker goes in and sees children are malnourished and they out there in a dungeon with their own feces, and they get them out of there, they escape. The news never reports on, man, these folks they were members of Missionary Baptist Church in Cleveland, Ohio. They don't do that. But because of the way you have this thing wired, all right, because of how you've made yourself be known, when one joker does something, it's a representation of you. And it's a lesson within that. Because as Israelites, as not just as people of God, you're a representation of citizens of the kingdom of God, of ambassadors of Christ. We are representations of God. And when we go out here and do something stupid like that, we make our God look stupid. We make our God look embarrassing and look filthy. That's why we talk about blaspheming his name among the Gentiles, where we have to, he's going into judgment, and now God is judging him, and so forth. Sometimes the Most High brings stuff up, man. I told you 2024, Cat Williams said it, man. 2024, man. Things are going to get exposed, man. And I'm going to tell you too, man, the hate speech that we're doing, you better stop. They are building cases on not just Pastor Dowell and his organization, but every Israelite organization. They're going to go through your videos. If you're teaching hate or what they deem as hate speech, telling people who they are not, or who they are and who they are not, okay, there are going to be consequences for that. Gonna be consequences, man. 2024 is not the time, man. It is not the time. People know who Israelites are. They have a certain image or opinion about Hebrew Israelism, and it's not good. It's not good. And if they have that imagery or opinion about us, they have that imagery, more than likely they have that imagery and opinion about our God also. And so when we have situations like this, we have to call these things out. We have to call these things out. We have to separate ourselves from these things. We have to separate ourselves from these things, man. You don't have nobody who you call, man. I say call RG Stair, brother. If that brother's still alive, I don't know if RG Stair is alive. I don't think he's alive. But you need to go contact them folks. You need to contact RG Stair's lawyer. You need to know what the next steps are. You need to make the shift that RG Stair made when he gave you that land. You need to pick your successor. If you even care about the community. Do you care about those people that are on that land? Do you care enough about them for them to carry that straightway on? Maybe change the name into something else. Who do you trust like RG Stair trusted you? Who's your successor? Can't be Brandon Muir. Can't be Pastor Muir. Can't be Pastor Rufus. Your boy kind of reckless too. The other brother, I think it played for the Packers. I think he got like the African name, Shalakia. Like the West African name. He a little reckless too, man. Do you trust him to carry it on? You don't look like a, he don't look well studied, on how to navigate those contracts, and he don't have the reverence of the people. He's already been investigated, so he not gonna make it out of this thing either. You need to get that land back to them folks. It's probably your best option. Probably your best option, man. Put the alcohol down, man. Put the alcohol down. That liquor ain't gonna make this go away. Put that alcohol down. Stay off of that camera. Get things in order. Prepare yourself. Be doing all this. Like I say, man. Them people came there with a darn battering ram and snipers and tactical gear drones because you made stupid comments like, oh, we out here testing. We getting war ready. We having the testing experiments. We out here handling these guns and doing this with these guns and all that. Stupid. Gotta admit that was stupid. And if they came there with that over there at Pastor Muir's house, man, they might fly a jet. They might fly a jet over there over Straightway, Tennessee. See, all that stuff is being used against you. They brought that in there based off of your YouTube videos. You cannot separate yourself. What is Brandon Muir? What is Pastor Muir telling them folks? Pass it out, man. I pray this thing was edifying, man. You got a lot of decisions to make. You got a lot of weight on your shoulders, brother. But you did this to yourself. All right, this isn't, I can't say it's judgment. This is just the consequences of your decisions. And you for certain testimonies, I pray you treated these people enough where they'll have that reverence for you in that law of court, but I don't think you have, brother. I don't think you have. I think every one of those folks will turn against you. All them folks that left Pastor Rufus, and now they there with you. They left Pastor Rufus just off of that little rebuke from you. What you think them folks gonna do when the feds kick the door in? Them folks gonna want to go home, man. Even though they ain't got no home. They gonna want to go home. They gonna them jokers gonna offer them a good night's sleep, a hotel to lay in, and some McDonald's. And they gonna tell it all, brother. Every argument, every time you went too far, every time you might have physically got involved with somebody. Listen, man, them weights ain't gonna get that stress off of you, brother. You got the only thing that's gonna relieve that stress from you is you gotta jump. You gotta leave that organization. You gotta count your losses. Take whatever wives you gonna take with you and get out of the United States. Or you see the same fate as your mentor. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to condemn you, to say you even did anything. I'm just trying to lay out some options for you because I don't think you're smart enough to see them. To see all the pieces that can be turned against you. You by yourself, brother. Shalom. Y'all be blessed.